Warren Buffett. What does that man represent? What comes to mind when you think about Warren Buffett? Is it stocks, dividends, Coke, Candies, $98 billion? Well, today we're going to find out a stark truth about Warren Buffett. And I'm going to break down this man who's known as the American icon, because you'll be surprised. And I guarantee you, by the end of this video, you'll be surprised what Warren Buffett stands for. And at the end of the video, I'm going to tell you one thing about Warren Buffett that makes him extremely successful. So if you want to know more, stick around to find out. Hello folks, hola, ¿cómo estás? Konnichiwa, ni hao, privet, kefahalik, namaste, salam to all my friends all over the world. Welcome to Entrepreneur Extraordinaire. When I did research on Warren Buffett, I was shocked, I was surprised to see a good side, a bright side, a funny side, but a very dark side of Warren Buffett. And I want to answer a moral question. Is Warren Buffett really good for America? Is he toxic to America? Is he a benefit to the economy? A lot of folks always tell me, just invest in any company that Warren Buffett's investing in. Folks who are millennials especially have a conscience. Why would you invest in a Coke stock when all it does is poison people with carbonated water, sugar, nasty chemicals? Who wants to put that in your body? But Warren Buffett represents that. So let's first start by breaking down that somehow Warren Buffett is genius. He is super smart. He's made all this money, so he must know everything, every currency, including digital currency. Well, he does not know digital currency. Look at this clip that I'm showing you of Bill Gates, Warren Buffett's partner Charlie Munger, and Warren Buffett himself bashing Bitcoin and calling it a rat poison. Here you go.
Bitcoin, this digital currency that's out there that people say, oh, it might be the next big thing. What do you think?
I think it's rat poison.
If a gun were held to your head and you had to invest in either BlackBerry right now or Bitcoin, which one?
I'd probably short them both.
I'm a huge believer in digital currency, and in fact, the Gates Foundation is very involved in trying to get that going in poor countries so we can have cheap financial services.
Notice in this video that Bill Gates is not smiling. Why is he not smiling? Because he knows that Warren doesn't know what he's talking about. Bill Gates is a computer science major. He built computers for a living, for all his life. He understands the power of digital currency. He even says in this interview that he's using it for transactions in third world countries. However, Warren Buffett, not for a second, or Charlie Munger understands what digital currency is. It means that they don't read about it. They did not educate themselves. Folks, these people are not as smart as you think, and they're certainly not right about everything. They may be smart in what they do in terms of investing in stocks, but they don't know anything about digital currency. The second part of Warren Buffett's personality that I want to talk about is he's a very, very stingy man. He's a very stingy man. He has a lot of wealth. He doesn't spend it. So why is that? And when I dig deeper into it, and I realize he eats McDonald's every day. Not only that, he rewards himself by eating $2.67 bacon and cheese sandwich if the stock market is down. If the stock market does better, he goes up to $2.70. If the stock market is really high, he spends $3.17. So I want to play a video for you so you can see Warren Buffett going through the driveway of McDonald's.
On the way, there's a McDonald's, so I'll pick up something.
Good morning. Thank you for choosing McDonald's. Go ahead and order whenever you're ready.
I'll have a sausage McMuffin with egg and cheese. And I tell my wife, as I shave in the morning, I say either 261, 295, or 317. And she puts that amount in a little cup by me here. And
what does that say about this man? He is extremely greedy and extremely stingy. He won't even treat himself to a $4 coffee, yet he's worth billions. And you know what that comes from? That comes from the mindset when you grew up in a neighborhood and an environment where you don't have any money and you want money. And when you have it, you just want to hoard it. You want to grow it. And that, I think, is the psychology behind this man. That's why this man spends only $2.65 when the stock market is down. I mean, would you do that? That's what I'm saying, folks. You can't connect and understand this man from the 1950s because his mindset and mentality is different and the world has changed. There is no point following Warren Buffett anymore. The next thing I want to bring to your attention is that Warren Buffett also invests in some typical companies. And by doing that, he's creating an American consumer habit, okay? American consumer habit. If you look at all of his conferences and his meetings, he has Coke or Diet Coke sitting next to him. He drinks, in fact, 6 or 7 cans of Coke per day. That's what Warren Buffett represents. Heinz ketchup, Kraft cheese, hard candies, junk food. That's what he's feeding and selling to America. And he's running ads. He's pumping money in these companies so your children and your adults can eat these things and be addicted to it. In fact, I would go as far as in saying that Warren Buffett has invested in companies that produce addictive food. I personally know a guy who lost all the enamel on his teeth by drinking Coke. Coke is a poison you don't want to put on your body. In fact, a CNBC reporter even asked him, why are you promoting these foods? There's also news that Warren Buffett had turned down an offer to own and invest in Whole Foods, which is a consumer product that's good for the health of the public.
They're still very good business. I mean, if you've got a brand, if you look at the return on tangible assets, you know, Coca-Cola or Kraft, Heinz or anything, you've got a very good business. It doesn't look as good as it did 5 or 10 years ago.
Some people would say healthy diets where they won't eat things that are packaged. They think that's bad for them. It's a millennial attitude too.
Yeah.
There's also a video that I want to play for you where a guy followed Warren Buffett's diet and look what happened to him. He gained pounds. His cholesterol went up.
He's middle eats like a child. So a lot of Dairy Queen. And dinner is that was a country fried steak smothered in gravy with mashed potatoes. A 2 liter of cherry Coke every day. Over the course of the 5 days, I had about 1,260 grams of sugar. Bloated every day. There would usually be like an intense sugar crash and caffeine crash from the cherry Coke. You know, my coworkers were saying I was irritable, became especially lethargic.
I mean, this is what Warren Buffett represents. This is what he wants to feed America. The question is he doing it as a showman? Does he really care about the health of Americans? I think he doesn't. He cares about money. This man represents greed, in my opinion. So I hope you are as amazed at this man who has a big responsibility to conduct himself in a healthy manner to the public, especially with the healthcare crisis we're facing in this country. But he doesn't. He doesn't do that. I'm going to play one more clip for you where you can see Bill Gates and Warren going to a candy store. It seems like a very playful video, but they're really trying to sell candies. He's trying to promote the candies he invests in, and he calls it a good product.
Boy, this is my kind of place. I think it's a lot of fun when you can have a product like a See's candy or Coca-Cola, whatever. You really love the product itself. I just like to eat, and especially candy. I like the peanut brittle a lot, and there's no way to stop once you start eating peanut brittle.
But it's a good product for Berkshire Hathaway. It's not a good product for the consumer. From the health perspective, why would you support a man like that who wants to invest in companies that are selling pure sugar that has been known to cause the highest number of death rate in America is caused by diabetes? If you're diabetic, your life is half over. Your quality of life is really, really bad. Now, there's no doubt that Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway has accumulated enormous amounts of wealth. They've been very successful in investing in companies, in some cases destroying companies and buying new companies and creating mergers or laying off massive amounts of staff from that company. And they've created a lot of wealth. But at what cost? At what human cost? At what healthcare cost? So me personally, and my point and plea to you is, if you ever invest in Warren Buffett's companies or the companies that he represents, packaged food companies and the consumerism he's trying to spread, please ask yourself a moral question. Should I be investing in something that's bad for my health, my parents' health, my children's health, and can cause diabetes and can cause other significant diseases? Now, I also want to bring an example to you. Another example of Warren Buffett's shortcomings is that he has made clear public statements during his stakeholder meetings that Tesla will never succeed as a car company. And I'll present to you the evidence here. I will also present to you, he said that Tesla should not get into insurance business because they will fail. Why did he say that? Because he owns Geico. See, he's not being truthful and putting down other companies and calling them failures when he knows they're not failures. Tesla is right now the #1 stock in the stock market, and it's in direct competition if they open an insurance company to Warren Buffett's other companies, which is Geico. So whatever moves this man is making and the statements he's making, it's in his own selfish self-interest. That's what my point is. And that's what I found by researching him deeply with an open mind. I had no idea, folks, that Warren Buffett is that kind of character, that he's a very stingy man, that he eats junk food, that he even buys company that sells junk food, and he wants to feed that food to our Americans. I had no idea. But when I started to research and dig deeper and deeper is when I realized what is going on here. Now lately, Warren has been investing in a lot of banks, Visa, MasterCard, Wells Fargo. Why? Because again, consumer debt, right? He wants to own consumer debt to again profit his own business. Look at Wells Fargo, again a company that Warren Buffett supports. And what was Wells Fargo doing? They had the biggest lawsuit where they had to pay several $billion back to the consumer for forcing them to open faulty accounts. And that's how we invest in companies. Now, another interesting brand that Warren Buffett invests in is Apple. But if you look at Apple's business practices, they're very evil, folks. They are very evil. But I'll tell you, with Apple, they will give you a phone without a charger. So you have to buy a charger. And when you go to buy an Apple charger, they make sure the charger is not compatible with any other device. And that to me is evil. I personally had a bad experience with Apple where I had a keyboard issue for a faulty keyboard that they had released in 2019. And there's multiple lawsuits and complaints from consumers about their keyboard, but they continue to charge customers and sell their service to now fix their faulty product. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine somebody telling you a piece of garbage and then telling you, hey, by the way, you can buy a warranty on this for $300. Otherwise, I'll charge you $900 to fix your and replace your entire keyboard. And that's the kind of company with no moral values that, Warren Buffett is investing in. So do you want to be the person to support this man? I personally don't think we should do that. And I would encourage you guys also to learn from this video, do your own research, invest in companies and stocks that can still make you rich, like Tesla and other companies, but they're not trying to screw over the consumer. That's the difference in a man who was born in 1930s versus a man who's born in 1970s or 80s or 1990s, and so on and so forth. So please make moral and conscious decisions. That's really the goal or the lesson from this video. So I want to bring this information to you to be a smart consumer, to invest and put your money in the companies that really matter. Right. The last bit that I think that I promised you guys that you will get from this video, one of the secrets to success. Folks, research has shown that to keep your brain happy, you have to feed it what it likes. And what does your brain like? Well, your brain likes sugar. Your brain likes mitochondria activating, ATP activating foods. And in this case, for example, if you love chocolate and it makes you happy, if you eat a bit of chocolate every day, it will keep your brain in a healthy, functioning manner. And I think that is what Warren Buffett feeds off of. He feeds off of those junk foods that he enjoys eating, that he grew up eating, and that promotes his brain and mental health. Now, he's also a very avid reader. He reads newspapers and trends and figures out and focuses on companies long term to see if the industry is changing left or right, and then he makes his move. And I think those two things, make him a very successful man. The fact that he keeps his brain happy, entertained, and does his research makes him really, really, really successful. And you too can do that without screwing over the consumer or funding companies that are against our moral values, that are not hurting Americans. Folks, one of my great friends, Jeffrey, has written a rhyme or a rap, whatever you call it. So I'm gonna share this with you because I think it's really funny. So here it goes. Is the story about this bloke thought-provoking or a joke? Are ethics up in smokes hidden behind a cloak? Maybe deserving of a poke because really Coke? Coke? Or is this Rapp solid as an oak? So with that now, I'll let you see my outro. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.